Welcome to Keto Beyond the Couch, episode 350.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Joe.
And we are
two
crazy
ketos. Rachel stole a cat.
I haven't stolen the cat. It can leave anytime it wants.
Rachel stole a cat.
This is the neighbor's cat.
That has decided it's living here.
Has been hanging around a lot. And I haven't been dissuading the cat from visiting.
What are you planning on doing when we go away?
Well, see, that's the thing. I mean, it's the neighbor's cat. So if it comes back after the 2KK cruise, then so be it.
I guess this cat has two homes.
There you go. You know, is that ever a bad thing? That you've got two places where you can lay your head.
Welcome to Keto Beyond the Couch. If you are new here, Keto Beyond the Couch is all about our subscribers. We do this every Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern, live whenever possible. And we like to celebrate our subscribers, find things that were posted on our social media group like Mighty Networks, which you can join for free at members.2krazyketos.com, or you can choose to support us financially by joining one of the paid groups where you get some little extra things. We've got some cool things planned for the paid version of Mighty Networks as well, so super excited about that. Now, the way we like to do this is we're going to go through, if you are new here, everything we have pre-planned, and then the last 10 or 15 minutes, we'll pay attention to the chat. So if you have a question, hold off till then or use the super chat function. That's a little $ in the chat window. That benefits the channel, but more importantly, it highlights our screen and we can answer your question right away. Now, today's episode is sponsored by Keto Brick.
Keto Brick.
We absolutely love Keto Brick.
New flavor.
So Keto Brick, if you don't know what it is, it's a meal bar. But it's 1,000 calories with perfect keto macros and amazing ingredients. And we've been using Keto Brick since Robert, Keto Savage, started making them just for himself. And there were only like 10 available a month. And when I say 10 available, I mean 10 total.
Right.
You had to go on. He'd go, this Sunday, I'm going to release 10 of them. Refresh. Oh, I guess I got to wait till next month.
You were basically buying stuff out of his pantry.
And there was only one flavor. Now there's multiple flavors. And Keto Brick just re-released one of their older flavors, but using a new fat source. It came out yesterday. I checked this morning. There are still some available. And it's nootropic icing. It literally tastes like cake icing.
It's so good.
And here's the thing is it's a collaboration between them and Keto Brain. So it's got nootropics in it. And this time they're making it with beef tallow. So it's got a softer texture, amazing flavor. So use the link that's on the screen or the one down below. And you can get yourself some Keto Brick. You can mix and match different flavors, which is great. And what I really do like about them is that it is a small family company. Make everything in-house. So we appreciate Keto Brick for supporting our channel. And we appreciate you guys for supporting the sponsors who support Two Crazy Ketos.
Just writing down prayer requests for Sean Bradley's mentor, Tom Johnson, who lost his wife over the weekend.
Yes.
So we're going to be keeping that family in prayer. And then we did have two birthdays, Donna, Joe, and Joe.
Yes.
Both have a birthday on the same day.
Yes.
So let's sing to them before we get started. You ready?
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Donna, Joe, and Joe. Happy birthday to you and many more.
Tomorrow is John Paul's 29th birthday.
I cannot
believe I have a 29-year-old.
That went fast, didn't it?
I'm old.
It went fast.
It did go fast. Okay, are you ready to get into this? Now, I do want to say that I've seen a bunch of people asking Black Friday. Here's what we're going to do is later on today or tomorrow, we're going to record a Black Friday video. The problem is there are some deals that we cannot tell you about until Black Friday. So we're going to record everything that we know about, ones that we can tell you now, and tell you also in that video when the other ones, we won't tell you exactly what the sale is, but that they are having a sale and when you will be able to go back and look in the comments to see what the date is. I will ask you guys this, if you're getting anything for Black Friday from any of the things that we talk about in that video, or anything on Amazon. We really appreciate if you guys use our links. It does help support our channel. It costs a lot to run this channel, like our Mighty Networks group, and we really appreciate when you use those links. It doesn't cost you anything, but it does encourage these companies to work with us, and we really do appreciate that. For example, I will tell you, you want to know what the Keto Chow Black Friday sale is?
Yes, I do.
I can't tell you. They've been hinting.
Yes.
New flavor coming out. It is amazing. I will tell you that.
It is amazing.
And then I will tell you, insiders will find out in a couple of days, but we can't actually tell you what the Black Friday sale is until Friday at 12. So you just go back to the video, and in the pinned comments will be what all the deals are.
I will say, if you are going on the 2KK getaway cruise, and now we are counting the sleeps until that cruise, it's coming so fast. I'm so excited. But I love the fact that this year, the cruise set sale after Black Friday. So if there are a few cruise essentials that you need to stock up on, you can do that and do it 50% off. I always love that. So I actually dropped a list of some things that we pack when we go on a cruise in the cruise group of Mighty Network. So if you want to check that out, that has all of the links to some of the things that we pack when we're going on a cruise.
Also, if you want to get excursions, anything like that, drink packages, all that's on sale on Royal Caribbean's website. And also for next year's cruise, and if I'll pull that up here, next year's cruise, which is on MSC, October 4th through the 11th, we have about 20 cabins left. We're selling out quick. And we're going from October 4th to the 11th on the MSC Seashore from Port Canaveral. So MSC is having sales on their excursions, drink packages, Wi-Fi, things like that.
Check it out.
And I don't know enough about MSC to tell you that like there's going to be a good 4th of July sale or something like that. So go get it. Then you can always watch prices. And MSC is just like Royal Caribbean, where you can actually return it and rebuy it if the price goes cheaper.
Yeah.
Which is why, even though me as your travel agent, if you want to get an excursion, I can book your excursions and we get like a 2% commission off of that. I'm never going to tell you that we should do that because I can't return it for you and get you a better deal if it goes cheaper. So I'd rather you do it on your own.
Handle it. Now, I will say, everything cruise is on sale right now. So if you're like, I'm not going on the 2KK cruise, but I
want to go on a cruise.
I want to go on a cruise with my family. Joe can help you get the lowest price.
I just booked a client a 7-day cruise on Royal Caribbean. Ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
$700 for 7 days for 2 people. Everything included.
So don't miss this opportunity. You can send an email to Joe at 2kktravel@gmail.com if I'm remembering that correctly.
And I work with all the different cruise lines.
Including Disney.
I'm
going to let the cat out of the bag.
Let's jump right into, we're going to start off as Rachel lets her non-existent cat out of here.
It's not even here.
Okay. We're going to start off with this from Deborah.
Hey, Deborah.
Deborah said, I'm finding starting my day speaking my blessings out loud to be a powerful way to begin the day. There are always more things to be thankful for than not. Mindset is a choice. I'm not sugarcoating. I'm focusing on the positive aspects of life.
Sometimes people are like, I will calm down when everything settles down. Well, then you are never going to calm down. And if you're like, well, when I have something that's good to focus on, then I'll stop being so negative. No, you won't.
Right.
You have to choose. It is a hard-fought battle every single day to stay positive. Trust me.
Yes.
And there's always going to be, with new seasons of life, even with new good things. It was funny, okay, so we sort of have this little cat that's kind of in our life, right? So then I started thinking to myself, oh man, do I need to probably get a poop box, and what would we feed it when it's here? And stressors, right? So don't miss the opportunity to look for the good in your life.
If I focused on the negatives, I'd never get out of bed.
No, of course not.
I mean, and I'll tell you what. So you may have seen yesterday, we put up a vlog video, a full day of eating, stretching a brisket all week long.
Right.
Still have some left. And we showed you the bathroom.
Yes.
Well, what we didn't show you was a new problem that I encountered. So I had showed Chris when he was here that they had the door installed wrong, the front door. So I'm like, I'm going to work on that the other day. come to find out that the door that they put in is not a door that actually belongs there. It was an aftermarket door. They installed it wrong. It swings out. It swings in instead of out. If you don't know, I don't know about other places in the country, but here in Florida, doors are supposed to swing out. Outside doors must swing out, not in. The reason being is if you have a hurricane, the wind can't blow the door in. One of the biggest problems with a hurricane is, and the reason we cover our windows, is pressure. So if you break a window, if your door opens up, the wind can blow in and lift the whole roof off of your house.
That is bad.
So you have to have the door swing out. So I'm like, I'm going to fix this. Only problem is I did not account to the fact that they had the door installed wrong. As I'm changing, I'm like, well, now we have a problem, because when I put down the floor, it doesn't cut in to the threshold like my back door does. So now my thing is figure out a way to make this look nice, or pull up the entire floor to the door to redo that section.
We're going to be doing our best to make it look nice.
I came up with a solution, but if I only focused on, oh my gosh, now what? I just would have laid in bed all day.
Right. You can't enjoy your day.
You have to focus on the positive things.
Yeah.
Next one we have is from Larry.
Hey, Larry.
I'm so glad I took my wife Barbara Hicks Wilcox Cleghorn invitation to go to Yanahilly.
Okay.
I don't think either one of us expected to walk the entire paved trail, which has a distance of 1.67 miles.
Nice.
However, we did. It was not record-setting pace, but 1.67 miles, and God's great creation is completed.
I love that, Larry. That is so good. And yeah, you don't even have to think about the pace. You don't have to think about I have to do this right. I need to vacation right. I need to move right. I need to be correct in every single thing. Because then if you think too much about that, you won't do it.
Yes.
You just won't do it because you're like, well, if I can't do it right, don't do it at all. That's foolishness. Right? That is foolishness. And the only way that you're going to get better anyway is start here. Yeah. And then continue to do it. I think that is a major victory. And you know what else I think is nice? That was something that you did together with your wife. That's romantic. Anytime that we can do something together as a couple that is not solely focused on food, I feel like is a non-scale victory right there.
Yeah. It's been a while since I had chocolate core keto chow,
right,
which is the beef protein.
It is so good though.
And then you add in a packet of the caramel vibes. Oh my gosh.
All the vibes.
What a way to start my day. Because I have a busy day. Lots of videos to edit. And also our podcast is coming back. We've got 2 podcasts recorded.
Yeah.
We're going to be releasing one this week, another one next week.
So
Super excited about that. So a lot of work to do around here, the house and videos and everything else. So starting my day with a keto chow. Next one is, we read that one. Which one? I missed one. Oh, I guess I did Larry's twice. Next one is from Robin.
Hi, Robin.
I've been known to eat the Quest chocolate peanut butter crisp protein bars when I'm in a rush.
Okay.
Or didn't plan. I've got curious about the math on the back of the package, and I don't know what kind of rounding they use, but each bar is supposed to be 200 calories according to the package, and according to the calculator, it should really be 254 or 256. That is an underestimation of about 25%.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing. And this is why I put this in there. I feel like this needs to be a whole dedicated video.
True.
By law, I guess you can say by law, or legally is a better word term to use. Legally, companies can be off and literally lie to you about the macros on a package by up to 20%. But it can actually be more. Okay, and the reason is they first of all are legally required to round. They can't have decimal points. So like a company cannot put on the package, this has 0.49 carbs. They must round it.
I remember when Noosh was aggravated about that.
Yes.
Because they were trying to give like the full explanation what was going back on their nutrition, and they were forced to round in a
Yes.
way that they didn't like.
Well, it's like Keto Chow. If you look on the front of the package, it says the exact amount, but on the back it's rounded.
Yeah.
So they must legally round. So that is why I always tell people all heavy whipping cream has carbs, right? It's 0.413 carbs per tablespoon. And the companies are smart. They tell you a serving is 1 tablespoon. And 1 tablespoon is 0.413. They must legally round down. So on the nutrition label, they put 0. They have to put 0 legally. They can't put 0.413 carbs. They legally. So now they get to round on that.
Mhm.
They get to round on how many carbs are in a serving. They get to round on
Calories.
the calories. Well, more importantly, they round on the grams of protein and grams of fat. So let's say something has 7.48 grams of fat. They have to, on the nutrition label, round it down to 7. Then when you actually multiply it out, if you multiply it 7.48, that's going to give you a different number calorically because
Sure.
it's times 9 than 7. So all of that gets rounded. They can be off by 20%, and then the total calories are off, where it could be more than 20%. But just know that if you pick up a package and it says there's 100 calories in there, it could have 120 or
That's a big
125.
difference.
It's a big difference, especially throughout the course of your day. The only place that they cannot round is like with vitamins.
Right.
Especially if they put something like a high source of vitamin C. They can't round and be, or they can't be off.
Yeah.
They must tell you this is what it is. They can't be off by 20%.
Sherry
So
Morgan.
it's a way for them to legally lie to you.
Sherry Morgan, good to see you, precious friend.
Next one is from Storm Chasing Gal.
Hello, Storm Chasing Gal.
When you feel hungry, wait a half an hour. If you still feel hungry, then eat, especially before your bed. You're not hungry and you're tired.
There are so many things that's solved with a nap. We just don't want to use that thing. Sometimes we need to go to bed. If we stay up, we will stress eat. We will stay too long on screens, even if we're like not eating and we're just watching screens. A lot of times we just need to go to bed. It's okay to go to bed. You know, when the kids were little, you'd kind of force a nap. You'd force them, you'd have a bedtime because you knew they needed it. Well, you are a larger kid. That's all there is just because you are no longer a child doesn't mean that you can't get fatigued by the day, stressed out in your mind because you're rolling around an issue that you just can't come to a conclusion on, right? And you just need to go to bed.
Yeah.
It's okay to go to bed.
I have a question. I'm looking over here on the screen.
Yes.
We did a review video yesterday for a Chalk Zero product.
Mm-hmm.
And this showed up on their website. Can anybody tell me what a lactation cookie is?
I think it's supposed to be something that helps you with like producing your milk and stuff like that. But I've even heard Michelle talking about how
I mean, I'm thinking it's for a baby, but no, this is not.
it's for the mom. But she's like, this is not something that you would see on Little House on the Prairie. So like, why don't we just go back to whole food and not, try to buy something that I'm not even sure I need.
Right.
And it's also not a meal. This doesn't seem like proper nutrition.
I don't get it.
I know, it's funny.
John, question, are you doing a post-Turkey Day stream on Thursday night?
If we could
We
get
haven't thought that far ahead.
Yeah, we haven't thought that far ahead. Most likely would probably be either Wednesday night or Friday night.
Probably Friday.
Yeah.
We will let you guys know. Just make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification so you're notified about things, and also make sure you're in our mighty network.
I agree with Chris. A lactation cookie just sounds like an excuse to eat a cookie.
I would agree. Okay, next one we have is from Carrie.
Hi, Carrie.
Look at that. It turns out that fluoride might actually make you smarter. It won't be long and alcohol will be good for you again. And so CNN put up this article saying that fluoride in drinking water does not negatively affect cognitive ability and they may actually provide benefits, study finds. This is the problem.
I think the news just wants to keep you in a mental state of purgatory. Don't feel calm about any decision you make. Be a little bit scared all the time. Just let fear be kind of like running in the background like white noise.
Well, here's my problem with something like this from CNN and all of the companies.
All news networks.
All news networks. You have to do your research, but
Sure.
they know that most people won't do their research, and they're going to see this headline. Half the time they don't even read the article. How do I know they don't read the article? Because half the time we put up a video and say something in the title and we get all of these comments, and
based on the title.
It is clear and obvious that the person didn't watch the video.
No.
Right?
Right.
So if they're doing that with our videos, you know that they're doing the same thing with these articles. You can find a study for anything.
Oh, yeah.
I can show you a study why eating dog poop would be healthy for you. I mean, it's like you can manipulate anything to show your need. Again, even though he's had some good research, you can also look at Ansel Keys purposely manipulated the 7-country study to give the result that he wanted.
It's funny, it reminds me when you're watching the news, when you're reading the news, I can remember studying USA Today when I was, in school. Right. And how the entire format was designed so that you could read the entire newspaper in a subway train ride.
Right.
That was the whole reason. It doesn't matter if they get all of the facts. It doesn't matter if they cover everything as thoroughly as traditional newspapers were about. It was like, we need to slam them fast. Just give me a bunch of headlines. I need to be able to find out what is going on in international news, lifestyle, the athletics, no matter what, real estate, everything, business, everything needs to be able to be read in a very short subway ride. And so you think the news is still coming to you with how can I reach the person who only has 9 seconds to be scared by me? Right? So right. It's just, I think that we have to calm down when it comes to getting our news.
We have to calm down. We have to do our research when we read an article like that. And here's the problem right now. A lot of mainstream media is against anything that RFK is trying to do. And right. I don't agree with everything. No. I don't agree with everything that I think. And I certainly don't agree with everything Rachel thinks. So I'm definitely not going to agree with everything that RFK thinks. But I think overall, he is trying to make America healthy again. If he came out tomorrow and said, the worst thing in the world that you could do is drink water.
Oh,
everybody would come out and go the opposite. If he said, listen, I have discovered that drinking laundry soap is really bad for you, the media would come out and be like,
laundry soap is
amazing for the body. It's like whatever he says, for some reason, there is an opposite. And I think, again, not everything he says do I agree with. But to come out and he says seed oils are bad, and mainstream media is like, no, they're actually really good for you.
I like the conversation. I like just having a conversation about different things. And again, a lot of what is being talked about is lifestyle change, which I think is really important. Right. So, I'm sure that it angers a lot of people that making a pivot like, hey, go back to butter instead of seed oils. There's not a lot of money to be made in that kind of advice. If he was coming out and saying, hey, you need to get these medicines, you need to join this service, if it costs money, then somebody can get rich off of it. But it's like, hey, maybe we need to go back to eating real food again. That just ticks off big food, big pharma, because we're talking about lifestyle changes.
Eileen said, thanks for the $5 super chat. Said, my dentist hubby calls BS on the fluoride in drinking water every chance he gets. Here's my thing. If fluoride is so good for us, why is it when you read the package of a tube of toothpaste, it says, do not swallow? Now, that in itself should really alarm us. It says, do not swallow.
I'm always going to swallow a little bit when I brush my teeth.
But you're putting it in your mouth.
Right.
You're literally putting a product in your mouth
Right.
that says, do not consume this. Like, and we all know anything that goes under your tongue is like immediately absorbed into your body. Right. So we put that stuff in our mouth, we swish it around. I mean, things like Listerine and stuff is really bad for you. It gives you fresh breath, yes, but you're killing all of your bacterias and everything.
Right.
And so if we're not supposed to swallow it, why should we be drinking it? Like, we need to think a little bit when it comes to these kind of things. I saw Dogs Gang said, what about maybe sharing a post picture of your Thanksgiving feast or keto meal?
Oh, sure.
Well, yeah, I'm sure we'll put up a picture of what we eat.
Definitely.
Now, we're actually going to our kids' house. At least I believe we are going to the kids' house.
So.
And so we're not kind of in charge of Thanksgiving. It's whatever they're doing. I know that there's going to be a lot of non-keto people there. So we'll probably just put a picture. Hey, this is what I'm eating.
This is what we're eating.
Do you have a recipe coming out tomorrow for... I thought we had a video when we never did have a video.
Sweet potato casserole.
For our sweet potato casserole that we have made for years. Absolutely. If you love sweet potatoes but don't want to eat sweet potatoes, you want to try this because really it tastes like sweet potatoes. But it doesn't have any sweet potatoes.
It's a delicious side. Sometimes we need a couple sides. I mean, we've shown you how to cook a turkey.
Yeah, John said if RFK said the laundry detergent is bad for you, the Tide Pod challenge would go viral the next day.
Let's just hope
that I kind of agree that. Let's take a quick fade to black.
We're back.
Okay. Gonna start off with this one right here. From Melinda.
Hi, Melinda.
I'm just putting this out there for anyone that may struggle like I do with the whole all or nothing attitude I get when trying to better myself. I just can't do the tracking, the weigh-ins, letting numbers rule my life. I get obsessive about it. I didn't hit this goal. I'm up a half a pound. Is it because I didn't weigh my chicken thigh right? Honestly, it's just too much for me. I'm going back to not tracking or weighing myself again. I'm way more active and I need to trust my body to eat how much it needs. I know the right and wrong foods. I'm figuring out my triggers for my migraines and my fibro. I am healing, and I really think this discovery of being obsessive about numbers and goals is a part of that.
Wow, Melinda. Thank you for your vulnerability and for sharing your thought process. Not just saying tracking good or tracking bad, but why tracking for this season of your life is not the best option for you. Now, if you're getting started and you get to the point, not even getting started, but like, let's say you've been doing keto for a while and you've been in an authentic stall for like 6 months to a year, okay? Then you may want to reach out for coaching services with somebody like me or Joe. And we are going to ask you to just track what you're doing for a little bit, just so that we know what's going on your plate daily. But I kind of agree with Melinda over the years. For certain reasons, we have tracked, but I find that on the day to day, first of all, it's challenging for me to always get it in and be perfect in that. And if I do it one day and then don't do it for 2 days and then try to get back to it on the 4th day, I get confused and I feel like it's not even giving me the information that I need.
So here's the thing about tracking. We get this question a lot. Should I track? Should I not track? There are pros and cons to both. When it comes to tracking, I think there is always going to be a time where you need to track. You're going to need to track your weight for a little while. You're going to need to track your food for a little while. You need to track your movement, your sleep. You need to track to have a baseline to know where you are starting or if there is a problem. So, for example, let's say you've been pretty much maintaining your weight. You haven't been tracking on the scale. You haven't been tracking your food. And then all of a sudden you notice my clothes are getting heavier, or tighter. I need to figure out what's going on. At that point, what you might want to consider doing is going in and tracking your food for a week or 2 weeks, see what you're eating, and go, oh, now I get it. But you also have to look at your sleep. When you have something like that, you want to track everything.
Right.
Just for a week or so to know, okay, let me see what's going on. Maybe my sleep is off. Then you know what you need to focus on. Then maybe track for another few weeks to get yourself back where you want. So if all of a sudden you realize, well, I've been eating 3,000 calories, or I wasn't counting the carbs in my heavy cream, and by the time I do my heavy cream and maybe a little snack here or there and some nuts and my coffee, I was consuming 90 carbs a day. I mean, Rachel at one point was consuming 35 to 40 carbs a day in coffee, because there are carbs in coffee.
I drink
It's just,
a lot
again,
of coffee.
it's a rounding issue. But overall, people don't want to hear this. You're not supposed to track for the rest of your life. Okay, we were not designed to track. Our ancestors didn't track. Heck, the scales didn't even show up in houses until the 50s and 60s.
Really,
Like,
the
on
60s and 70s.
on a, like, where everybody has a scale, nobody had a scale. It did. So what happened beforehand? You went intuitively. You didn't have macro calculators on your phone.
You had your one coat, and if it fit, you're doing fine. And if it got tight, you were like, there's room for improvement. Right. So you knew in your clothes, like when you need to get a handle on something.
The problem with tracking for the rest of your life is it's going to consume your life. And as Melinda is talking about, like, many of us get obsessive. Now, I'm not saying everybody gets obsessive, but you're still, if you decide, like, I'm going to track for the rest of my life, there's a joy missing.
Yeah.
Because you always have to, well, I have to make sure I did this, and what happens with this. Sometimes the scale just goes up because of the Earth's gravitational pull. It goes up because of your time of the month. It goes up because you drove in a car. I mean, every single time we do a 2 to 3 hour car ride, if I got on the scale beforehand and after, I generally would weigh more, even if I didn't do anything, if I didn't drink anything, just because of the way your body works. So you have to look at all that. If it's a consistent something is wrong, that's where you track for a little while, and then you get back to not tracking.
I think that if you are going to track anything, track your optimism,
Yes.
Track your joy. You know, we could be so fixated on a scale number and how long we've fasted and like we're weighing our food. Have you weighed your joy lately? Are you tracking that? Are you making sure that every single day you're getting in time for gratitude, appreciating your life, thanking your body for continuing to move and to pump, blood throughout your body and keep you alive? I think it's interesting that we want to see how much our body weighs, but we do not weigh the appreciation that we have for our lives and the people around us. So I think if you're going to track something, track that joy, track your optimism. Where is your attitude at? Because here's the thing, what you're going to do with the results of tracking like your weight and your size and how much you're eating and all of that kind of stuff, you're probably going to use that information to beat yourself up. Right. But if you're tracking your joy and your optimism, what you're going to do with that information is celebrate. And that's what we really need to do.
So in the end, tracking is good for short-term goals if you're trying to accomplish something specific, but it should not be a long-term thing. You should not be doing it long-term. If you're in a situation where, okay, I've reached the weight that I want to be, I'm overall happy, yet you are finding that if I don't track, I go off the rails and I gain a bunch of weight, the solution is not tracking. The solution is finding out what is causing you to all of a sudden eat differently.
Right.
What changed between having this and not having this? Is it accountability?
Right.
Like something, now it's not a tracking. The tracking isn't magic. The problem now is you have to figure out is what's going on up here that when I'm not tracking, because if you've tracked your food for 3 months, your body knows how much you should be eating. Why do you need to put it into a calculator? You should intuitively at that point know, I know what's going to make me full. I've been putting the same thing on my plate for 3 months.
Right.
And so if all of a sudden the second you put your calculator down, the plate quadruples, there's a problem up here. And that's what we have to work on. And that's where a coach may help. Let's move on to the next one from
engineering.
Engineering. I don't know.
I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry. I use a food tracker which constantly tells me that I am not eating enough. I average between 700 to 1,000 calories a day. Your food tracker is correct. I am not hungry and I have no cravings. My doctor tells me it is in survivor mode. When my body thinks there isn't enough food around, so your metabolism slows to adapt to lower calories. An example would be if we go out for a burger, I eat about 4 bites and I'm full. So one bunless burger is 2 meals for me. I have added a daily protein shake for a snack, no hair loss, and my iron is low. I have increased beef versus poultry and fish 3 to 4 times a week, but the scale doesn't budge. I've lost 23 pounds, but very slowly, hasn't gone down in about a month. I will try to get the calorie count above 1,200 calories. My carb stays low because of keto. Okay, there's a lot to unpack here, but without knowing your whole history, I'm going to tell you this is probably a result of tracking. Like, 700 to 1,000 calories is not enough for anybody.
No.
I don't care if you're 4 foot.
Yeah, that's very
700 to
low.
1,000 calories, that is like you're on death's door food, okay? Nobody has a BMR, a basal metabolic rate. If you don't know what that is what your body needs to just survive.
Without even getting up.
Not to sound more, but if you're in a coma,
right,
your BMR is like you're literally where just to pump blood and breathe, like you're not getting up to go to the bathroom, you're not even turning over, right? Just that's what BMR. Nobody has a BMR of 700 to 1,000. So the thing is that you need to be eating at all times above your BMR. Otherwise, you're not even giving your body enough food to survive. So your doctor is correct. Your body is in survival mode at this point, and it is slowly shutting things down. This is where you end up with thyroid problems, gallbladder problems. I mean, we talked about gallbladder last week or the week before, where it is a result of not eating enough fat, and it's a muscle contraction issue. And at 700 to 1,000 calories, you're going to end up with gallbladder issues as well. So there's a lot of problems with not eating this. And I'm going to tell you, 1,200 calories still isn't enough. Like your BMR, I can almost guarantee your BMR is at least 15 to 1,600.
If you cannot eat a lot in a sitting, then you are going to need to eat many times a day. Right now, the priority I would say for you is not a weight loss. And like you said, you're eating keto, you're keeping your carbs low. If you're like, I can't eat in a sitting, then right now I would see your day as an eating window, and you've got day up to sundown in order to get your food in. If you need to rely on things like beef jerky or dehydrated meat so that you are starting with, a lot more girth and then making it so that like it works with the fact that you don't have a lot of appetite. But this reminds me a little bit about, when I had dehydration issues.
Mm-hmm.
And even though your body I needed hydration, my body was literally rejecting it. And so this does concern me. We are not doctors. We're not nurses. We're not health professionals. We don't know if there's something else going on in your health. You're seeing a doctor. I don't know what else that is for, but I would definitely give my best effort to slowly increasing your calories across the day.
If I'm coaching you, and I can tell you pretty much most of the coaches that I know, we're going to work you all the way up to over 2,000 calories. And I'm going to tell you, most likely you are not going to begin to really lose weight, especially fat, if that's what you're concerned about losing, until you get your calories way up there. And it sounds weird that you need to eat more, but you need to ramp up your metabolism.
Your body's protecting you right now.
As you eat more, your metabolism will speed up, but you have to do it slowly. You can't go from 700 to 1,000 calories eating 2,000 calories overnight. You're going to have to do that over a period of 3, 4, 5 months to get yourself up there, and you'll be amazed to watch weight coming off.
Yeah.
The other thing is that you're going to need to, one of the things that's going to help you build up that metabolism is muscle. You need to put on some muscle. Well, you need food for the muscle. I will say, you're talking about having protein shakes for snacks. I'm going to tell you that's not the best option. The best option is to eat more food. You should be focusing, especially if I can't eat a lot. Everything should be about nutrient density. So at that point, you should be focusing on like really meat and meat alone.
Right.
Like there should not be a vegetable on your plate right now because there's no nutrient density in that vegetable.
And
Okay,
you
we're
need
not
it
even
all.
looking at calories. We're looking at grams of fat and grams of protein. You need to be, you really need to be at least 1 to 1. Okay, so I'm going to tell you your minimum protein should be about 100 grams of protein. Your minimum fat should be at least 100 grams of fat. And that is a bare minimum and probably not enough. But you're going to really need to work to get up. So if you're going to want to have any kind of results, you need to work that stuff up. You're going to do it slowly, but your plate should really be meat and meat alone.
Thank you, Sherry Morgan, for the $4.99 super chat. What are your thoughts on the carnivore adding carbs debate? When you eat carnivore, do you try to stay in ketosis? Now,
we have a video actually that I'm going to edit later today talking about some of this.
But it's interesting, Sherry. What I see, a carnivore adding carbs is keto. Like that is what happened is we just haven't moved from where we started. I think you're always going to have more or less carbs. It's going to ebb and flow. But think about that. A carnivore who eats some extra carbs would probably just re-identify themselves as keto. What I'm a little bit concerned about is that people are going to see like a title like that and just think that, oh, we're going to the complete opposite spectrum and we're swinging to primarily eating carbohydrates.
I'm about to upset people because I like to upset people.
Why do you like to upset people?
Because there's some issues going on, which we discussed in that video.
Right.
Okay. But here's what's going to upset people. If you are a carnivore, you are keto.
Keto.
You
fat
are
fueled.
keto.
Right.
We talk about this in an upcoming podcast and video, but here is the thing. In 2019, you had carnivores. Dr. Sean Baker was eating mostly a carnivore lifestyle or a carnivore lifestyle in 2019. Yet he was part of the keto space.
Yeah.
He didn't change. The community changed.
Right.
Okay. And somewhere along the line, after 2020, this really kind of started in 2021.
Things got weird.
We had a division. And you had people who said that they were carnivores saying, we are better than you. We are stricter than you. We are healthier than you. None of which is true. And they don't want to be associated. And this is not all carnivores, but a lot of carnivores. They don't want to be associated with a keto person. So that's why we mentioned a couple weeks ago, should we change our name? Which we are not. This is who we are. Because what happens is we're about community and educating and supporting people. And what happens is carnivore people see the word keto and they're like, I want nothing to do with that.
I've optimized past that.
If you are a carnivore, you are keto. You're just a stricter form of keto, not allowing vegetables and things.
Exactly.
So with that being said, to answer your question, Sherry, when you eat carnivore, do you stay in ketosis? You are in ketosis. Because you're eating a lower carb lifestyle.
You're fat fueled.
Also understand there's two terms that people use interchangeably, but they're not really interchangeable. Ketosis is the act of your body utilizing ketones for fuel. So your body is using ketones for fuel. Even if you are eating a zero carb, which is pretty much impossible,
right? Okay,
any carnivores will argue, but you're not eating zero carbs because there's carbs in liver, there's carbs in eggs, and if you're a carnivore, you should be eating organ meat. There's carbs in seafood. There's carbs in beef. It's a minute amount, but there are carbs. So you are not eating zero carb. But let's say you are eating zero carb, you are still not in ketosis all day long.
Right.
Because your body will go in and out of utilizing ketones for fuel. Because your body does need glucose. It just generates the glucose
itself.
Well, when your body is creating glucose through the process of gluconeogenesis and utilizing that glucose, you are not at that point in ketosis.
Right.
Okay, you're not in ketosis. Because ketosis is the act of utilizing ketones for fuel. Ketogenesis, which is really what we should focus on, but we can't actually measure it as easily, is the act of your body producing ketones for fuel. So you could be in ketosis if you ate nothing but Oreo cookies all day long and then drank exogenous ketones.
Exactly.
Every time you drink those exogenous ketones,
you could use a keto meter and
you would be in ketosis.
Right.
Okay, because your body will always use those ketones for fuel first. As soon as the ketones are gone, your body goes back to sugar, and now you're not in ketosis. Ketogenesis, your body creates the ketones. That's what we should be focused. So how do you know if your body is creating ketones? If you check your meter, if there is a 0.2 on there, your body is creating ketones.
Yeah.
That's how you need to look at it. So if you're a carnivore, yes, the goal is to be in ketogenesis because you want to be fueled by fat and ketones.
Yeah.
Next one is from Vicky.
Hi, Vicky.
I'm wondering, what do you all do to treat yourself? I'm trying to get away from eating feelings, using food, as a reward mentally. Today I'm at a local beauty school, facial and mani and pedi.
I think you, Vicky, are off to a great start. Start to dream a little bigger. I've always been somebody, because, we've always been, very poor. And so I would use food because I could find a cheap way to reward myself for adulting all week. So I would, work hard. I'm being a wife, I'm being a mother, I'm being a coworker, I'm doing everything I can with excellence. And I would celebrate that at the end of the week by going through the Dunkin' Donuts drive-through to get myself a big sugary drink and a muffin. And I would spend $10 on myself, maybe. And so now I first began saying, what else could I do with that $10? Could I use that $10 to buy myself the entrance into a museum or a botanical garden and be able to see something beautiful? Could I use that $10 this week to buy myself a cute top, right? Or to buy myself a hair product that is, above the family budget, but still a treat for me? Could I buy myself something like a puzzle or a game? Doesn't need to live in my house forever, but I used, something with a wrapper on it that was $10 or less, and then just threw away the wrapper so that I could buy a puzzle, I could buy a game. I could buy a game on my phone and give myself a reward. It doesn't have to be expensive, but it's just something to honor adulting. You're not going to adult past needing to have something to celebrate, look forward to, that sort of thing. And then, yes, maybe treating yourself looks like a mani-pedi. Maybe treating yourself looks like having someone come in and clean the house for you. That could be a really nice way to celebrate how hard you're working.
Next one is from Denise.
Hi, Denise.
In the lobby of the doctor's office with my husband, and the TV in the lobby is talking about childhood diabetes. They said they need to go back to eating more fruit, vegetables, and lean meats. I wanted to scream, no, no, no. Then all of the drug ads, I had to move away from the TV.
Yeah, it's so challenging.
Here's my thing. I mean, listen, I don't think if you have diabetes, you should be eating a lot of fruit. But I would say if you said, I would rather a kid go back to eating fruit, vegetables. I'm not going to go with lean meat, but meat, and not eat any sugar. I could get along with them promoting that. My biggest problem with this statement is the lean meats. Like, you need to eat lean meat.
It's because they've put the connotation of like fats. When we think of fats and being fat, like I'm too heavy, we have a negative connotation with that. And so if you're like, well, we need to solve we lose weight by consuming fat, that breaks our brain, because we're like, no. We can't have a good outcome from doing something negative. I see fat on my body is negative. How could I ever solve that issue and see fat as positive?
Right. Here's my thought. My personal opinion is that any doctor or drug company that tells people that if you're a diabetic, you should eat sugar and then take this pill should be sued for malpractice. They should be prosecuted. I mean, because that is just a horrible way to be pushing people. Like, listen, eat sugar, the thing that we know is going to kill you, cause you to go blind, make you lose your limbs, and just take a pill. Like that is the stupidest thing
It's
I've ever
gambling.
heard. And I just remember growing up, okay, as a child who was obese and a mother who was a physician, constantly being told, if you get diabetes, you can never have sugar again, and you're going to have to stick yourself with pens or needles, because this was a time where you didn't have drugs to counteract it.
And now it's like, you don't have to change anything.
And now it's, you don't have to change anything. That's malpractice.
Well, I mean, I think we have to be a good consumer and start having some common sense conversations with ourselves, right? That it's like, that sounds ridiculous. Hey, if you want a different outcome, if you're sick, don't change anything that you're doing. Let's just take medicine. And then you can just continue doing what you're doing. It's like, you have to think to yourself, well, I know I'm eating more sugar than I should. I know I'm not moving my body. I know I'm not getting proper sleep. I know I'm stressing out over everything and just staying angry and frustrated all the time. But don't change anything. That's not anything that needs to be worked on. Come on. We have common sense about that, right?
To me, a doctor's first job should be, let's look at what's causing this. Let's start working on that. And then while we're working on that, that's where the medication comes in.
Thank you, Sherry, for that $4.99 super chat. For the new 2KK Kids on the Block, you two were legit the first to do the real deal triple B and E challenge, daily vlogs, and all the meals. Absolutely epic. Thank you so much. That was something that we really enjoyed doing, and I'm so glad that it is a resource for people still. Next year we will, at some point, I'm not sure what time of year we're going to do it, but we will do our triple B and E course. And we have another thing that we're going to be doing planned for January. So stay tuned. We have some other things that are super epic.
Next one's from Tracy.
Hey, Tracy.
I'm having an issue that I need help with. I've enjoyed marinating my beef tenderloin with Worcestershire sauce, and I notice it has anchovies in it. Yes, that is correct. I'm often tasting a fishy taste when I eat my steaks. It is really off-putting. How do you season your steaks aside from salt? It could be all Worcestershire sauce has anchovies in it. It's just part of it. It could be partially a mental thing, but if it is something like you're like, I'm the same way. Like, even if I don't taste it, if I know it's there, I don't want it. And that could be going on. We're big into just salt, pepper, garlic on our steaks. What I would suggest, if you want to marinate it in a sauce, get coconut aminos.
Yes.
Don't use soy sauce because it's made from soybeans.
But coconut aminos are delicious.
There are some good fermented soy sauces. Those are a little bit better. But I would look into like coconut aminos and things like that. That could give you some of that marinating that you're looking for. Next one is from Michelle.
Hi, Michelle.
As far as keto and gouty arthritis, I can attest that I'm fine with any whole meat, fish, dairy, protein, but I have trouble with anything made with protein powders creating a gout flare-up, sadly, because I love both. This includes keto chow and carnivore bars. It's not an immediate reaction, but a gradual one. Just an FYI for anyone with gout history to consider adding protein powders added protein powders if you have trouble with flare-ups on keto. Yeah, that would make sense. It's not so much a protein powder, it's what else is in that protein powder. I would say that if you're having a gout flare-up with keto chow, it's probably related to dairy.
Yeah.
Because not butter. I always like to say I don't really consider butter as much as dairy. It does come from a cow, but a lot of the things that would cause dairy inflammation is eliminated in butter. And even if you do have a problem even with butter, look at ghee, because now you're just looking at pure delicious fat. But with keto chow, the base keto chow is a milk protein isolate, and that could be causing things.
I would switch to the beef. The core
beef one, but it is something you have to look at all the ingredients. There could be ingredients in there that could cause gout flare-ups. The one that surprises me that you mentioned here is carnivore bars, because unless you're buying the honey ones, there is literally nothing in there. If you're eating a carnivore lifestyle, I mean, the salted or the unsalted carnivore bar is literally beef and tallow. That is all it is.
It's only meat.
So there is nothing in there that causes gout issues.
It's a whole meat issue.
Yeah, so now if you're having the honey ones, the apple pie
even
ones,
the garlic maybe
even the garlic ones, that could be an issue. Next one is from Mrs. Norris.
Hey, Mrs. Norris.
I have backyard chickens who roam my yard, but they get feed from Tractor Supply or a feed store. I don't know if that's any better than grocery store eggs because I don't buy organic feed, but the yolks are prettier and bigger and darker orange.
Nice.
Yes, this is a great question. Okay. If you're feeding your chickens standard cheap Tractor Supply feed, is it better than buying a grocery store egg?
Yes.
And I'm going to tell you yes.
Because they still get to live outside and they get bugs, and this is a supplement to their life. It's not the totality of what they eat.
So if you to take those chickens and put them in a warehouse where commercial eggs come from, all those chickens do is get feed.
And no sunlight.
They eat, well, but even before you get to that, all they're doing is getting feed. They're eating feed, and chickens will eat pretty much constantly. They just eat and eat and eat and eat and eat. And they give them extra stuff to make them lay eggs. Then you look at the stress that those chickens are under. Many of them give them light almost 24 hours a day because chickens stop laying when it's dark out. And so as like at this time of the year, you get less eggs. So they give them artificial light to keep them laying, which stresses them out. That all gets put into the egg, all of that stress and everything. That all comes into your food. So then you add in the fact that they're not getting sunlight, that they're not grazing, they're not getting bugs. Any chicken who is eating only chicken feed, okay, and only all of the chicken feeds that you buy and that the commercial hatcheries use, they're literally just grains and corn and wheat and stuff like that. There's no meat in it. That is not a proper chicken diet. Chickens are omnivores.
They love worms.
They eat anything. I joke all the time. If you went and laid on the floor in your chicken coop for 24 hours, they will begin to eat you.
Yes.
They literally will eat anything. So a chicken needs bugs and things like that. And so when you get commercial eggs, they're not getting any of that. They're not getting the sunlight. The sunlight that chickens get, that directly transfers into like vitamin D in your eggs.
For you.
Which then comes directly to you. So it's always going to be better for the pasture-raised eggs, even if you're feeding them cheap feed. I would recommend at least getting a non-GMO feed.
Yeah.
Okay, which they're not that expensive. We're even going with the organic feeds. Like,
not much of a
there's usually only like $1 more. They do sell it in Tractor Supply. But, you know, looking at that and knowing that you're not getting some of those pesticide chemicals, but it's still much better than buying grocery store eggs. Last one we have is from Luann.
Hi, Luann.
I have heard that European pasta is totally different than processed pasta in the U.S. I wonder how true it is. It is very true. So if you go to Europe and you get pasta, it is very different. Many people go over there and experience it doesn't cause glucose problems, and their body digests it differently. And a lot of that has to come in with the grains they're using and the fact that a lot of the things that our wheat have and are sprayed with and are treated and the way they're ground down, it's not legal in Europe.
It's just not allowed there.
And so that comes down to their breads are better. I'm not saying you should eat them all the time, but many people can go over to Europe and treat themselves to a little bit of bread or have pasta and have zero negative effects, as opposed to they can even have a slice here. Mike Mutzel actually talked about that on one of his podcasts.
Right, because he was surprised.
Okay, let's jump into the chat here. John said, definitely eggs are a great protein source. I think eggs are the healthiest thing that you can ever eat. Carnivore Whisperer, I always hear about histamine issues. What are your symptoms, if you don't mind explaining?
Yeah, because Sherry Morgan has that. I mean, it manifests different ways. Rashes. I've even heard of people having like breathing issues. Like it could make you very, very uncomfortable.
Let's see. Sherry said, I've been doing carnivore for 6 years. I've been eating pressure cooked ribeyes and bone marrow for 11 months for histamine issues. Okay, intolerance. That's where that came from. Yeah, Sherry went from vegan to carnivore.
I know.
That is a big jump. Okay, I'm going to jump up here a little bit. John said, if you like lean meat, eat lean meat, just add plenty of butter.
Well, and that can be a great thing if you are a little bit concerned that, the meat that you're eating is not like the best quality. We're looking for the sales too, because we know beef prices have really gone up. And so, where things get stored is in the fat of the meat. So if you are like, hey, I need to go to switch to like cheaper cuts of meat or cheaper ground beef, then that's when you want to maybe get some of the leaner beef, and then you're going to add the butter to it.
Stacy said, I do Stacy Keto, which is mostly towards the carnivore end, but I do what works for me. Each person needs to find their place on the proper human diet, and it's like a sliding scale, healthy
sure
blessing.
is.
So yes, and so I saw that, like Amy said, she's not changing her channel name either, even though she's a carnivore now. I do think that a lot of people, I think most people are carnivore for a season, and then they start incorporating a couple other things.
May swing back and forth.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Not
you
at all.
find yourself on the pendulum. Sometimes I get really mad at Dr. Berry for coining the term proper human diet.
It's so good.
Because it's so good.
It's
but
right
it really encompasses everything.
Everybody.
What is the proper human diet? The proper human diet starts off with eating a whole foods approach. It starts off with eating mostly meat, but it encompasses a lot of things. Like the proper human diet can include eating a carnivore lifestyle where you're only ever eating anything from an animal. It can include keto, ketovore, paleo. I mean, it can include the Mediterranean diet.
Just general low carb.
Now, as he has explained it in the past, generally it is focusing on meat, eating 100 total carbs or less, which is why it could include paleo. Okay, because they'll allow themselves some natural honey and raw sugars and things like that. But generally, you're going to still be under 100 total carbs, but you're focusing on whole foods. That's where you're focusing on.
I think it's good, and I think that, the majority of people that we encounter, are able to be reasonable with it, apply just reason, they're pretty pragmatic about it. But you just don't want to mop yourself into a corner where if the vegetable appears, you either are mad at yourself or you feel like the person that you've been following, if they're all of a sudden put a piece of broccoli in their mouth or you see them eat a piece of fruit, you feel betrayed. If you have gotten to the place where you feel like coming in contact with something other than meat is a betrayal either to yourself or the person you've been watching and getting really good information from, if they eat a piece of broccoli, they've betrayed you. Now we've gotten into a little bit of a dogmatic, arena.
Which is one of the things we talk about in an upcoming podcast.
Yeah.
To go back to the question that was asked earlier, what are our thoughts on like carnivore people adding carbs back in? I think that what you're seeing with this is people who have been long-term carnivore. When I say long-term carnivore, I'm talking about 5+ years, are starting to discover that occasionally I may need to add a couple things back in. Why? Because that's what we're supposed to do. Because that is how God designed us. Nobody, no civilization has ever only eaten meat for its entire existence. Ever. There's not one. And so, I think they're discovering, you know what, I need to tweak things. The problem is they're getting beat up by their own community. And even what you're talking about, you start beating yourself. Oh my gosh, I had a vegetable. Now, if you're beating yourself up, what do other people think?
Right.
And so here is the thing. It's like, I have been out. I've had dinner with some prominent carnivore influencers and doctors.
Sure.
And seen them have a glass of wine. Now, it had gone through my mind of and make sure that you don't show that,
right, when you're
and because, in somewhere in your mind, aha, you're not 100% carnivore. What would the average just watcher or listener say?
I literally was on a cruise one time and I was eating some whipped cream that I had made for me.
I remember this.
And I actually had somebody run across the Windjammer to say, I caught you. And then they realize what I'm eating, and they're like, oh. And I thought, Ooh.
You're literally looking to catch us.
I thought we were friends, and like you really were hoping to like out me in some way. So I think that we don't get so caught up in the thought process that like we feel that way. I also always want to if I am somebody that's looking into a coaching plan, or I am looking to have somebody speak into my life, and maybe they have like some sort of a plan, they're doing some sort of a reboot camp or whatever. um it's a little bit of a red flag if somebody is like, I am the only way that can help you thread the needle of like the perfect amount of carbohydrates and macros in your life. Like, I'm the only person that's going to be able to navigate you through this space. Right there, that's a red flag. They're just creating like a protocol, and they don't have the way. They're not the Mandalorian, and like, this is the way, and they don't know how your body is going to uniquely react to something. So that's always a red flag for me a little bit.
Here's the thing that I meant to talk about in our video and podcast, but I didn't, and so I'll mention it here before we move on, because there's some more comments that I saw that I want to do. If we continue to beat up, and fine, people want to beat us up all the time, but if you continue to beat up a doctor, an influencer who is showing you this is what I've been doing, and then when they change.
Right.
Okay, so for example, Dr. Kiltz, who I love Dr. Kiltz.
I love him.
Came out recently and said, I need to eat more than beef.
Yeah.
Right? And he's getting ripped. You know what ends up happening? You become afraid to show changes.
Oh, yeah.
In the end, the only person that hurts is you. Because now when they realize, oh, maybe I was wrong, they're afraid to tell you that because you're going to come after them. So now they just make the change, but they keep it silent. And then the community starts another whole thing of, oh, they must be cheating. Something's going on. Why do they look like that? And why are you lying to us? So like, you literally come into a lose situation.
Right.
Everybody's body is unique. Mm-hmm. Again, like, I want to vomit when I even think about eating sardines, right? You love them. Everybody's body is unique.
It's true.
I did see, so Dogs Gang said, I wish I could handle eating meat, but my body and my mind find it repulsive. I don't know why, but I do like seafood and dairy. And that is fine.
That's okay.
I will say there's a couple of amino acids you're missing by not consuming meat, and trying to find some way to get those in would be great. But listen, seafood is super healthy. And if you want to just eat seafood, like, have at it. I wish I could. I just love it. Don't like it.
I definitely could lean on that.
But like, if you want to have the really good omega-6 to omega-3 ratio, like, seafood is where it's at. So don't beat yourself up for wanting to eat a lot of seafood. Sherry said, I remember the carnivore revolution. Sorry, Joe and Rachel. You and Rachel were the first beef, butter, bacon, and egg rebels that started. I don't know if it started the carnivore war. I don't regret the beef, butter, bacon, and egg thing. So, for those of you who don't know, we mentioned it the other day. When we started doing that, it was because there was this big push because people discovered protein-sparing modified fast, which has been around for a long time. And we even interviewed Maria Emmerich about this, because she's always kind of been the queen of it in this space, and saying it should be 2 to 3 days a week. But people had this idea of, if 2 days is good, 7 days is better.
Extremes are always
interesting. So all of a sudden everybody demonized fat. And so that's where the beef, butter, bacon, and egg came from. Like, Dr. Barry and us talked, and we said, we will show what it can do. But even there, it was 30, 60, 90 days. It was not long term.
The rest of your life.
It was 30, 60, 90 days. And somewhere it just, like, again, the problem has become the infighting. I can't take the infighting.
Marla says, with seed oils, it matters what kind of seed oil it is and how it's processed as to whether or not it's unhealthy or not.
I will agree to a point. I would say that almost all seed oils are unhealthy. One of the biggest things is the omega-6 ratio. It takes so long to get rid of those omega-6s and bring things in balance that becomes a major issue. There are certain seed oils that I'm going to tell you what is classified as a seed oil, but I don't know if I would necessarily call it a seed oil because a lot of things get lumped into seed oil.
Sure.
There are certain ones that are less bad. I would say peanut oil, less bad. Sunflower oil or some versions of sunflower oil, less bad. There is zero good and zero reason to ever consume corn oil, soybean oil, canola oil. Those are just, there is nothing good about them.
The general vegetable oil.
Vegetable oils. You also have to look at this. Think about the things that we call seed oils. Can you take that particular item and literally just squeeze at home? Can you make an oil out of it?
Squeeze it and juice come out.
So can you make oil out of peanuts? Yes, you can.
Yes.
Take peanuts, put them in your Vitamix.
Peanut butter.
And you will see peanut butter
separate.
And then you will see the fat separate. So you can get oil at home without adding any heat or anything like that from peanuts. You can even get it from avocados. You can't get oil from corn at home.
You squeeze that kernel.
So that is where the way they process it is what's bad. The other problem is that seed oils, most seed oils in general, and this is where peanut oil gets separated, they go rancid in high heat. Mm-hmm. And so you've already got a product that's been sitting around, but it goes rancid when you cook it and then when you consume it.
Right. So
it causes inflammation.
Yeah.
The healthiest fats will always be animal fats. It is always going to be animal fats. And then from there, you're going to look at the oils that you can get in general from plants or, things like that are natural, like avocado oil and coconut oil.
And there's always like a little bit of
olive oil
of like a learning curve if you've always relied, like I did, on those seed oils and you're switching to cooking differently. Like there's a learning curve. And my way of handling it has been like, let's just go all in with like the animal fats and maybe some avocado oil and olive oil and get really good at cooking with those, and just go all in with that because I need to relearn in how to work with these oils instead of relying on what I used to have. Does that make sense? Because it's like, this is what I know I want to consume moving forward. So why do I need to continue cooking the way I used to?
Right.
I need to just like make new recipes. I think about Thanksgiving and the way we used to, like, we'd fry the turkey in the peanut oil. And even if peanut oil is less bad, I need to find a better way to enjoy turkey not made like that.
Yeah, and the problem there becomes the omega-6 ratio.
Right.
And so, again, deep frying turkey is my favorite thing to do. I want to do it in beef tallow. It's just expensive.
Yeah.
John said, I want a genetically modified cow that is the same size, grows as fast, and reproduces like a pig, but tastes like Angus beef. Watch beef prices go.
Right?
Let's not even give them ideas.
You know that they're like, how can we do this?
I literally, it is nice to see more and more states that are banning genetically modified or genetically grown lab meat. Bride's Biscuit carnivore is 70% or more animal products. That's species appropriate. Don't sweat the ratios and lose the labels. Absolutely.
That's it.
You want to come on our podcast?
Yes.
Right. That, again, you literally see people telling carnivores who drink coffee being told by other ones, you're not carnivore. You had a cup of coffee.
Right.
Like, that's stupid.
I like John says, 2 Crazy Ketos, didn't you first do Triple B&E to try to gain weight and get some money from Dr. Berry? We tried. We did try. I tried my best. I ate a ton.
You tried. You at one point ate 4 pounds of rib roast, of rib roast, a prime rib roast.
On my own. 4 pounds.
Yeah, that was his whole thing. If you ate nothing but beef, butter, bacon, and egg, you would not gain 10 pounds of fat.
And I can eat.
Because it's impossible to overeat it.
So what happened was, though, it was interesting because then some people now like come on Triple B&E and they're like, I want to lose a bunch of weight. I didn't lose a pound. If you look at our results, I did not lose a pound on Triple B&E. What happened was I had like a complete body reconfiguration. Like I had this, I can remember wearing that same dress and then weighing it, wearing it after we were finished with Triple B and E, I look completely different in it. I hadn't lost a pound, but like the body, it just is. Triple B and E will just like chisel you out.
Yeah, Chris said number 1 animal fats, number 2 fruit oils like avocado,
Coconut,
olive, and coconut.
I love it.
And like I said, I mean, I would tell you that sesame oil, or not, rather, sunflower seed oil and peanut oil, they are seed oils. They still are not great. They have a lot of unhealthy qualities, but they are less bad. And it's something like, okay, so if I go somewhere and something is cooked with peanut oil, I will consume that over something that is cooked with a soybean oil or something like that. I'll be like, okay, I can deal with that. Carnivore Whisperer, my husband smokes the turkey. I actually like it better than fried turkey.
Nice. See, that's good. Aren't you happy when something is like, hey, I've made a change and it's actually better? Reminds me of like Keto Bricks going to beef tallow.
Yeah.
It was like they had to make a change and it was a financial decision. They were like, we can't get
double the price of Keto Bricks or find a new fat source.
Exactly. And so they found a new fat source and it actually wound up better.
Okay. We are going to get off, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, like I said, we have a couple of videos that we're excited about coming out this week. We have a recipe video coming out. We have the Black Friday stuff coming Wednesday. Rachel will be live at 10 a.m. in the Mighty Networks paid group.
Meatheads.
Which is members.2krazyketos.com.
Join me.
And then we will do a live later on this week. Just not sure if we're going to do it Thursday night or Friday. So just make sure you subscribe to everything. And you can check that out. And don't forget, if you're going to get anything on Black Friday, please consider using our links.
We love you guys.
Bye.